Good morning and welcome to Gospel Bytes, where we take a bite at the Gospel for the day. Today is December 4th, Wednesday. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus went along the Sea of Galilee. He went up unto the mountain and sat down there. Large crowds of people came to him, bringing with him cripples, the deformed, the blind, the mute, and many others besides. They laid them at his feet, and he cured them. The result was great astonishment in the crowds, as they beheld the mute speaking, the deformed made sound, cripples walking about, and the blind seeing. They glorified the God of Israel. Jesus called his disciples to him and said, My heart is moved with pity for the crowd. By now they have been with me 3 days, and have nothing to eat. I do not wish to send them away hungry, for fear they may collapse in the way. His disciples said to him, How could we ever get enough bread in this deserted spot to satisfy such a crowd? But Jesus asked them, How many loaves of bread do you have? 7, they replied, and a few small fish. Then he directed the crowd to seat themselves on the ground. He took the 7 loaves and the fish, and after giving thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples, who in turn gave them to the crowds. All ate until they were full. When they gathered up the fragments left over, these filled 7 hampers. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. So today Jesus feeds a hungry crowd. And so at first Jesus looked at all these people who were sick, this crowd that were listening to him, and he felt pity. God knows what we are going through. He knows our pains, our sorrows, because he's one of us. And he showed concern. I think some of the apostles, they probably didn't even show as much concern because they were wondering, well, we should just dismiss them. We cannot really feed that many. So Jesus knows, God knows what we are going through in this life. Don't even think that God is untouchable, that he won't even think about us. No, God cares deeply about each one of us. Now, after feeding, when he fed the crowd, he asked for whatever food they had. And in short, it was impossible. It was not enough. And so God makes the little efforts that we do, and he blesses them. God is enough for us. And there's even leftovers. This shows us that God cares about our material needs as well. Those of us who are financially troubled, those who are in difficulty, don't think that God does not look after our material needs, that he's just there for prayer, for spiritual growth, but he also looks after our material needs. And that's why the Sabbath is important. For us Christians, we have Sunday to celebrate Mass, and we celebrate it as the Lord's Day, because at least once a week we let go of our cares and put them all at the care of God, and we trust that God is looking after our needs. So the early Jews were as seen by their enemies. They were seen as the people who imitated their God, who rested on the Sabbath day. No? They said, oh, these people, they don't work on the Sabbath. They won't even fight on the Sabbath. That's why they tried to attack the Jews on the Sabbath. But in the end, they started fighting even on the Sabbath, because they were being slaughtered. But it's a way by which they imitated God, who did not work on the Sabbath. So that's how their enemies saw them, someone who imitated their God. the image of God who rested on the Sabbath. Now, there are people who imitate the image of a beast. You know, a beast um, works 7 days a week, and he does not rest. It doesn't rest, and we're not created in that image. No, we're not created in the image where we just slave ourselves and we have no time to rest. God knew that when He created us, our bodies need to rest. Our bodies need to recover. So God gave us one day a week to rest. For us Christians, it's Sunday, the day of the Lord, the rising of Jesus. And so for one day a week, we don't have to worry. God is going to look after me. So it takes a lot of faith to observe the day of the Lord. For people who say, well, I cannot do that because I'm going to starve if I don't. Well, there's some who honestly cannot, but for those who can, they're given that privilege of that rest. But it takes a lot of faith to say, Lord, you can take care of me, at least even for one day, I don't have to worry. So today, let us um, turn to the Lord who knows what we're going through and trust Him with all our needs, even financial, even material needs. He cares about us. I'm Father Jerry Zambrano for another edition of Gospel Bytes. God bless you. Have a nice day.